LeBron James didn't cramp up. Chris Bosh didn't miss. It was a Herculean effort for LeBron James here in Game 2, a 98-96 victory for the Heat to tie this best-of-7 series at 1-1 and send it back to Miami with the Heat now holding home court advantage. Incredible performance by LeBron, but what makes him special, Greg Cote?
Everything. Chris Bosh called him the most unselfish player he's ever played with, and I really think it's true. You know, he's thrilled to get 10 or 12 rebounds. He's great to assist. He really doesn't care if he scores 35 points or 25 or 18 as long as the team wins. I really believe that. And particularly after enduring 2 or 3 days of just brutal response on Twitter and other social media, mocking him, making fun of him for the cramping and everything. He wouldn't say it, but you know that this had to be a really, really satisfying game for him beyond just the fact that they won.
It just goes to show you how important Twitter is.
Of course, yes.
LeBron James wasn't worried about Twitter, and neither was Chris Bosh when he pulled up from the corner with 1:18 left in the game, gave the Heat a 2-point lead. Chris Bosh, as Greg Cote said, called LeBron the most unselfish player in the planet. Afterwards, Erik Spoelstra defended Chris Bosh and said it really makes the hair on the back of his neck stand up when people criticize Chris Bosh for his lack of mental toughness. He really defended Bosh and said, you know, this is one of the most mentally tough players that I've ever coached. You know, how has Chris Bosh evolved over the course of the last couple seasons for the Heat?
Yeah, they have him playing such a different role now that, you know, he's a guy almost 7 feet tall who might only have 3 or 4 or 5 rebounds a game because of the role that they have him playing in. Although he did attack a little bit more tonight than recently, but he's basically a perimeter player for them, and I think he's adapted pretty well. He's another one of these guys on the Heat who's had to sacrifice a little bit and evolve his game to fit what they're doing, and I thought he, other than LeBron, he was the best player they had tonight.
The inside-out game was effective for the Heat here tonight. Bosh had 18 points. Dwayne Wade finished with 14, and there were a lot of hard fouls. Greg, which foul stuck out to you in this game?
It had to be Mario Chalmers' elbow to Tony Parker's right here, I think. Shall I give you an elbow like that? Shall I do it, or you want to just imagine it?
Do you think the NBA is going to review that in all seriousness, and do you think Chalmers might potentially have to sit out the next game?
Well, it was a flagrant one, and I don't think he'll have to sit out the next game, but I think they might fine him a couple of bucks, if I had to guess.
Chalmers has definitely been fined in the past. It seemed like maybe that was a built-up frustration on his part after struggling through Game 1. You know, not really finding his rhythm in Game 2. But the Heat did enough without Chalmers, as they often do.
Well, Chalmers has gone 11 games in a row now in the playoffs without scoring in double-digit points, so he's got to be frustrated. But Rashard Lewis was big tonight. He was probably Miami's best player after the big three, and he has had a very good postseason. And Spoelstra looks like a genius right now for inserting him into the starting lineup, I think.
Rashard Lewis, I talked about after the game how Spoelstra also has done an excellent job in Game 2 of using more substitutions, more liberally, I guess, the substitution pattern. Kind of kept everyone's legs going until the fourth quarter. James Jones, Udonis Haslem, these guys made debuts in the NBA Finals tonight. How do you think the substitution pattern affected things?
I think it kept guys fresher. They didn't need it as much tonight because the air conditioning was actually working. And let's a quick shout out to Willis Carrier, who in 1902 invented modern electrical air conditioning. He was appreciated tonight in particular. But I think it's great that LeBron and Dwayne both pretty much came out publicly and said, hey, we need to go deeper on our roster, Spo, play a couple of more guys. And Erik Spoelstra, being the smart coach that he did, kept LeBron and Dwayne happy by playing a couple of more guys.
Okay, we're rambling now. We're going to head back to Miami.
You mean
where
my Willis Carrier reference was uncalled for?
We're gonna head back to Miami now. The Heat is tied 1-1 in this series. The air conditioning will be on full blast at American Airlines Arena for Games 3 and 4. For Greg Cote, I'm Joseph Goodman of the Miami Herald.